Recording is on.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the September 6th, 2021 Monday DXbiz weekly gathering. I will be running it today. We have a bunch of different topics. The first one will be, we have some of the members of the Index Finance team, including Lawrence and I believe Nito and a few people who will give an overview of Index Finance, some of the things they're working on, and a bit of a demo. And then we'll have some Q&A on that. We'll then move to some of the latest kind of updates. There's a lot going on with Arbitrum and Swapper, obviously, and then we'll talk about some of the business-related parts of it, and that includes upcoming farming, which should kick off relatively soon. We are still working on, participating with HATS Finance, and so there's a setup going on there. We've made some progress and ran into some problems around a multi-chain Gnosis Safe that we have been setting up in order as a tool to help move capital into the Arbitrum ecosystem. We are progressing with Carrot. We had some good conversations this week. We'll give a little bit of an update, I think, on devolution, or in general, more like what we're focusing on with governance product right now. There's a bunch of different priorities. We can then also just recap some of the things, any new information about ETH Lisbon Week. Still not too much happening with the next ETH Online, but we'll check in there. And then there's also, related to DX Ventures, we have a live proposal now from the HATS team for a grant to be deeper involved in the HATS ecosystem. And then there's ongoing discussions around a possible entry for DXDAO into some part of the metaverse through an opportunity with Atlantis World. And so we will start this off by introducing Lawrence Day from Index Finance, and I guess I can kick it off to you, hand it off to you, and you can give us an overview and share what you guys are doing. It would be great.
Yep. So hello everyone. My name is Lawrence, and I get really excited about sensible index investing. So I come with you with Dylan Keller and Lido Cohen from Indexed Finance. And what we do is we're basically just a passive portfolio management protocol that is built off of a fork of Balancer. And we have been operating for 8 months now. For what little the metric counts, we're sitting at 40 million TVL right now. And we offer single token tokenized portfolios of assets such as the D55, the DGen index, which seems to be quite popular with your apes. We've got market specific ones as well, such as the NFTP, which is, I think there's 3 different ones right now, and an Oracle index as well, the only one that does something like that. And the core thing really is, I think I don't need to explain to everyone here why index investing is a good idea. This is a thing that has massive product market fit everywhere. We've got some particular takes on our own variant of the protocol that's slightly different to competitors in the space, none of which I will name in this call. For example, we don't charge streaming or management fees for holding the tokens. Revenues generated by taking profits off of arbitrageurs. We've also recently dealt with the problem of, if you're holding a token that is basically all of the index products are LP tokens within balancer pools, and there's an issue of what to do with idle liquidity there, because if it's just sitting there being liquidity, it's not being as productive as it could. So the other big thing that we've worked on recently is NERN. It's an evolution of yield aggregator protocols. We can talk about that in quite some depth later on. Basically, it will allow you to I think it's 100 assets right now that can bridge across multiple lending protocols at once if it's optimal to do so. We're going to be using these things as proxies for assets within vaults. So the DeFi 5, for example, right now it contains weighted averages of Uni, Maker, Compounds, Yearn, and Synthetics. I think there's one other. But yeah, so the way that weights are determined in these assets is it's all determined on chain using data with a scoring strategy. So in the case of all of our assets, all of our indices right now, data which is either fully diluted market cap or circulating market cap square rooted to collapse some of the differences. And yeah, it's been working pretty well for us. Not as well known as we'd like, but with the attention that we do have, the DeFi 5 has proven to be the best asset in class for the year to date, beating out DPI by a fair chunk. I did say I wasn't going to name anyone, but I guess they're the benchmark. Yeah, big difference really is that, they use a set protocol versus using Balancer. We find that using Balancer stuff and weighting according to on-chain strategies rather than deferring to a central person or team who's moving the market when they shift assets around, that's preferable. I could go on and talk to myself for about 5 or 10 minutes here, but I won't subject you all to that. So I think probably best to just maybe kick you over to Dylan, who can actually give you a demo of the product from the website. Is that all right, Dylan?
Yeah, sure. Let me see how to share screen here.
So far, really interesting. Lawrence, thanks very much for the intro.
No problem. Funny thing is, within 10 minutes of this call starting, I finally, after what was far too long, released our kind of year ahead roadmap. So I will send you that as well, because that contains a lot of really interesting, like, primitive stuff that we're going to be working on.
Smashing. Thank you.
All right, so here's our website. We have, like Lawrence said, we have a couple of different products. The main two are vaults and index pools. So here's the DeFi 5, for example. And you can see we have Uni, Aave, Comp, Curve, Maker. Like Lawrence says, we have a on-chain controller contract that takes the fully diluted market caps of these tokens and then takes the square root of them and assigns weights that are equal to the proportional square root over the sum of all the tokens. So right now, yeah, these are just sitting in the balancer pool, not really doing anything. But we just released these vaults, and they allow you to deposit a token like, say, wrapped Bitcoin, and it'll look at the APR that it can earn across different lending protocols, and then deposit the assets in the way that's going to maximize the overall interest rate. So right now, that means just depositing all of it into Iron Bank. We also support Compound, Aave V1, Aave V2, Fulcrum, and Cream. And what we're looking to do relatively soon is port it over to Balancer V2 and then use their asset manager feature to be able to take the W Bitcoin that we have in an index fund and deposit it into this NERM vault so that we're just earning passive interest on the different ETFs. So the other couple of features we have here, we have staking for individual tokens as well as LP tokens on Uniswap and SushiSwap. Pretty soon, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be part of the MasterChef V2 system with Sushi, so we're able to distribute NDX and Sushi in a single staking pool. So that'll be coming to the website pretty soon as well. And yeah, if there's anything else you guys want to see, I can switch over to that. But that's pretty much a demo of what the website has.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, just when you're talking about this system, is mainnet the focus, or are you also focused on L2s and sidechain?
So right now, everything is on mainnet. We have a couple of tokens that have been ported over to Polygon through a bridge, and we have some incentives with QuickSwap there. But we haven't deployed anything to sidechains just yet. We are looking to do that pretty soon, though. So we've had some interest for making, say, like a Polygon top tokens index, and so if we were to do that, we would probably deploy this infrastructure over on Polygon and then have a new index there. And then we would bridge that over to mainnet rather than deploying it on mainnet and bridging it to Polygon. And there's also some interest in doing something similar on Arbitrum. So we're looking into that, but at the moment, everything is on mainnet.
Interesting. That's interesting if you deployed on either Arbitrum or Polygon, because most people, like mainnet becomes the native place, and then you bring what you want to onto those other chains. Because I think a lot of people feel that using it is safer that way. But that's interesting if you actually deploy everything and like create on those chains.
Yeah, so we'd be able to, for example, if there were synths available for everything, like a lot of people have asked for like an L2 index where you had one, like you could theoretically do that on Ethereum mainnet if you had sufficient like liquid synths. Yeah, the index DAO is primarily Ethereum mainnet right now. That's because we've got so much infrastructure to build that there's so much that we want to do that ETH is really where it started, is where stuff's going to continue for the time being. The Polygon one is one that's a particularly, I want to say low-hanging fruit, but because the DAO is primarily Ethereum right now, there's some thinking to be done about, okay, well, how is revenue generated there brought back to benefit members of the DAO? So, thinking might be like bridge exit fees to WETH and then bring it over to mainnet for that DAO there. Yeah, we're in conversations with some folk at Avalanche and XDay as well. And yeah, that's kind of the step where things are there.
Cool.
Yeah, and Lawrence, you and I chatted recently.
Yes.
And I threw out out there the idea of also doing an index for the top Arbitrum tokens, and you said you've messaged the guys over at Off-Chain Labs to see whether you could give it a try first with bridging DeFi 5. Have you heard back from them?
Not a word.
Yeah, they seem pretty busy.
Yeah,
we are currently deploying our first product token, and the conversation is a bit slow. So
I suspect things will probably
imagine
be turbulent for them for the next week or two at least.
Yeah. Those index tokens, are they standard ERC20s, or have they got any peculiarities about them? Because that would further complicate issues with bridging them over to Arbitrum.
No, they're standard ERC20s. The contracts themselves are balancer pools, but the ERC20 functions are just the standard ones.
Well, that's just music to my ears. That's good. Right. Yeah, I think you should really prioritize Arbitrum. Seeing how it's going, I'm following it daily on L2 Beat. I'm obviously biased, but yeah. So great, fantastic, guys. Has anyone got any questions for Dylan, Lito, and Lawrence? Yeah, seems like.
I love these awkward silences. They're great.
Yeah, no, this is a good sign. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and so we had the pleasure to meet at ETHVC.
Yes.
You pitched there, and you've shared your progress since then, and I've been very much impressed. What's your current state now? Are you raising funds, or?
So we, because all of the token funds are held by the DAO, we are in a stage right now where, given the growth that we want to do, because we've just picked up Satora to audit Nern. I would sacrifice a kidney to pick up another Solidity dev or two, etc. We have done a small sale of some tokens from the founders allocation just to give ourselves a runway, but want to arrange for a larger investment round from external capital in the next. I don't want to put a date on it because that'll immediately be something I miss, but in the next while, a wider thing from the treasury. Of course, assuming that the DAO approves.
Great. And after we start our liquidity mining campaign for our Swapper token is planned for all 3 chains we've been deployed on, and we'll be running on XDay chain. Do I understand correctly that you have the tokens ready for
Lido, can you speak to that?
Yeah, because I remember chatting with Marshmere in the past. By the way, they introduced us to each other. Yeah, and it's been great since. So I'm interested.
Sorry, could you repeat the question, because I had a little sound issue here on my end? And yeah, hi, by the way.
You were mentioning earlier how what your plans are in terms of the different networks, and I'm wondering on the current availability and readiness to do a campaign on XDay chain.
Well, I would say that would be quite trivial. So our first experience, launching on other chains was on Polygon, where in fact one of the first projects to bridge our index tokens over. And then had a joint liquidity mining campaign with QuickSwap, which was pretty popular, because at the time there weren't many tokens, especially not like blue chip tokens from Ethereum, available on Polygon. And so like this DeFi 5 basket, for example, was a neat way for people to get exposure to these blue chips and to buy them in a low fee environment. So what we did basically there was just using our social channels to amplify the message, basically, writing a Medium post, creating some video tutorials on how to bridge the tokens over, how to LP, how to stake. And then, each week also remind people that this liquidity mining campaign was going on. And so we could easily do something similar if we were to launch on XDay, especially together with you guys. Personally, given the landscape at the moment, I have a feeling that Arbitrum has a lot more traction than XDay. So if we had to choose between Swapper on Arbitrum and Swapper on XDay, I'd choose the former. But our strategy is really like making our index tokens available anywhere. So we'd of course be delighted to do it on XDay as well.
To a more technical point of it, I don't believe we've set up anything for a bridge over to XDay yet, but that shouldn't be long. It should be like a fairly simple process to get sorted. I just need to chase someone up. Yeah,
that was basically what I was after to find out. But okay, sounds great. Because
go ahead, Nathan. So I was just going to say this is all really good information, and there's a lot of different pieces we can stay in touch on. From an investment perspective, Swapper rewards for certain pools, and the optionality of a layer 2 chain or side chain or mainnet. So but I appreciate you guys coming on. We should probably move through the agenda now. You're welcome to stay and hang out or take off. But thank you for the update and the demo. Super awesome.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I might hang around.
Thanks for coming by.
No worries. Cool. Cheers.
Cheers.
Next, I had forgot, but we actually have a new member joining the DXDAO community, Oscar. And we usually do this in the beginning of the call, but we can now do it. Oscar, if you would you like to give a small update on who you are and what you are going to be working on in DXDAO?
Yeah, I just added them to the agenda.
Sweet. I forgot about it earlier. Thanks. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. I turned my camera on because I guess it's better for you to take a look how I might look like. And all right, so welcome everyone. It's really nice to join the XDAO, and I'm really enjoying joining the swap project. Yeah, so it's gonna be my first big project in blockchain because I've already joined the company. And I'm blockchain enthusiast. I've been working previously as a backend developer, so I'm gonna be working mainly with the smart contracts and subgraphs and so on. But I'm also gonna work some front-end stuff. So yeah, as you know, I'm quite new in the project, so we'll see what can happen. But anyway, I'm really enjoying joining you guys.
Great. Welcome, Oscar. And yeah, thanks. Looking forward to working with you.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. So we can jump to the next section. Lots going on with Arbitrum and Swapper. I think from a DXbiz perspective, the most important thing is we have farming campaigns that will be launching relatively soon. There was an initial plan in so the proposals and the strategy, the overall strategy. We got new information that some of the tokens that were included in the initial epoch are not actually tokens that are on Arbitrum for a few different reasons. So we are planning to potentially have community discussions around adjusting some of the incentivized token pools. So yeah, anyone that has ideas for that, feel free to contribute those to the Swapper chat channel. It's good. We have some time to make adjustments. Like the Arbitrum launch has been happening. We're seeing which projects and which tokens are migrating and bringing users and audience to that L2, and so dynamically having a dynamic plan around incentivizations and these epochs, I think, is a smart strategy. So this will be something that the Swapper team, in addition with DXDAO community and the DXbiz squad, will probably regularly make decisions on a dynamic basis as we get information each week and each period, basically. So yeah, if anyone has any ideas there, feel free to contribute to the conversation. I don't think John is here, but there's still some setup going around with DXDAO's kind of bug bounty participation in the HATS finance program. There's things in the background that have to be set up, such as the committee and a multi-sig and some inputs that were given to the HATS team. So that is ongoing. It will be cool for DXDAO to have a live incentive for bug bounties. And it will be an opportunity for the DXDAO community to also participate into this fund using their own DXD and actually earn rewards, HATS rewards for helping to protect the DXDAO ecosystem. Anyone have any comments or questions about any of those things? No. Cool. So then next up, we have the creation of we have a plan to have a multi-chain Gnosis Safe across all the different chains that DXDAO has as a tool in its toolbox. If it needs to move capital or interact with different chains, and this includes Polygon, XDay, Mainnet, Rinkeby, and ideally Arbitrum as well. There are some issues currently where Gnosis Safe has contracts and you can deploy safes on Arbitrum, but there's not like a live UI just yet. That I think that is being worked on, and we did a bunch of work this weekend to see if we could interact with the safe using alternative methods, and Augusto using his Batman hacking. We were very close, but I'm not sure it's doable. So at this point, we might have to wait for like a proper UI in order to have that safe on Arbitrum working. But yeah, once we have that, it's a pretty valuable tool, I think. In the meantime, if there are things that DXDAO needs to move capital or take certain actions, there are alternative methods to use, such as member balancer, which we probably wouldn't want to do in major size, but it is possible to use in certain situations. Cool. I guess this is mostly me just giving updates and talking, but next up is Carrot. There have been in the last couple weeks like discussions around prioritization of dev resources at DXDAO. Carrot has been sitting on the sideline and hopefully will soon get more focus and get over the finish line to get like an MVP that we can start to use to do smarter farming. And it ties in really well with the incentives, the swapper rewards that are upcoming. It would be like farming 2.0 in addition to the existing farming plans that we have. And so we've had a few conversations with external teams as well who are also interested in using Carrot and for specific use cases. And so, everyone we talk about, every team that we talk about with the idea of what Carrot can do, almost everyone is super excited by the idea. So getting a few of those projects on board early, in addition to DXDAO using the tool itself, I think is a great way to launch it. And so we're continuing those conversations, and we'll keep people updated. And then once we have a few use cases of ourselves using it and a few projects using it, it becomes like it creates material that we can share out into the greater ecosystem. And I think we'll get more and more inbound interest for that type of product as well. So that's a really cool opportunity. And then last discussion point here we have is an update on devolution. So at this point, the conversation of DXDAO working specifically with devolution on governance 2.0 is kind of on hold. There's been a big focus on DXvote and Arbitrum. I think once that is all sorted, I think that Augusto and a growing maybe governance dev squad will have the opportunity to start looking deeper at the guilds that are needed, and then how that all ties in with governance 2.0, which we have like a general plan for what it should, like how we can accomplish it, but we haven't taken the steps to move towards that just yet, but it might fit within our like current ecosystem. So I think devolution and has their vision and is making progress on their like pretty open source smart contracts, which are useful tools that potentially DXDAO could leverage if needed in the future. And then they're working with like a handful of teams like of the front end that they're imagining as well. So we are still in touch with them, but we we don't have like a specific engagement where we're specifically working on like building together just yet. So we'll keep that in mind. So then maybe move to something exciting, real world stuff. So ETH Lisbon week is still in the works. Melanie and Dave have been doing a lot of work in the background. Maybe if one of you wants to give an update that would be useful for the community, anything new or anything to keep in mind, that'd be great.
Sure thing. Well, from my side, of course, as I've already said a couple of times, accommodation has already been booked. The next couple of things is more working with events or seeing how we want to be involved, whether that's in a sponsorship capacity or some other capacity. Right now, we're actually looking into planning a DX-style party together with some other peeps from the industry. And we're actually currently in talks with the Taoist event because we're planning to host a party on a Tuesday, which is also the day the Taoist opens or like has their own conference, and they also have their own after party. But they've been quite open to the idea to kind of have like 2 official after parties. So we might end up being one of the official after parties of the Taoist. And currently looking at a couple of venues. Of course, there are, some people prefer certain venues, others, but that's kind of the latest and greatest from my side.
When you say 2 official after parties, are you not talking about at the same time, right? Or are you?
Potentially overlapping as well, yeah.
Where you have to also choose one or the other?
Yeah, so they wanted to make a POAP you can claim at both parties, and if you claim both, you get a third special POAP or something like that. But I think because
having 2 parties at the same time, then they're just competing, right?
Well, I mean, throughout the whole Lisbon week, I don't think you'll have a single evening where there's not another party at the same time.
True.
Like it's inevitable anyway. So, but at least if we are an official after party of the Taoist, it's already cool. And I believe they're planning to do a boat party. So, the thing with a boat party is people arrive late, the boat is left, or people don't want to stay on a boat the whole time. So I think we might, if they actually end up doing a boat party, we might actually have an advantage by just having a regular venue,
Cool.
Yeah, and also just one more thing I want to talk quickly about another event that we are holding at LizCon. So on Friday, October 22nd, we're going to be hosting an event, specifically a panel discussion and happy hour around the future of prediction markets. It'll be hosted at The Block, which is like a kind of co-working blockchain location in Lisbon. So those who aren't participating in the hackathon that starts on Friday will hopefully kind of come to our event and check it out as well. So we already have a venue and it's already on the schedule as well.
Cool. So how there's this form where we can get on like the main calendar, we can get our events on there, right? So as you know, what happens is people just fill out every sign up for every event there is, whether they're going to go or not. Do we, for the prediction market one, do we know like a total capacity? And
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've already posted that event. Like I already posted it onto their website a while ago to let them know. The capacity there is like 50 to 75 people. Like I think that's like inside of the block, but they also have a large terrace. And I know like a few other projects are hosting parties there as well. And I think Claros is hosting like a closing party on Sunday at the same location. So I think it should be fine as far as capacity goes. I don't know.
Gotcha. I'm just wondering if we need to like hold some spots that are like people we can invite, or that like people in the prediction market space like want to come to this, and it's filled up by people that just randomly signed up on the forum.
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe we can hold like 20 spots or something, because I don't think anybody from DXDAO has even signed up for it either. And I've like already had people signing up for the event.
Gotcha.
So I'll hold some
Yeah.
spots.
I've also been to the block a couple of times. It's not the largest venue. They have a really big outside terrace, but inside is not that large. So it definitely makes sense, I think. And it's operated by some Bitcoin maximalist French people, just FYI. But apparently they host events for Ethereum, Solana, Tezos, and EOS. So as long as you pay them, I think they're happy with everything. But otherwise, ideologically, there's some Bitcoin maximalists.
Really?
That's why I don't go anymore.
Okay. Let's jump to, I don't think Tammy is here, but let's just cover, so immediate opportunity with there is a live proposal now on mainnet DXDAO for a grant investment from DXDAO to HATS Finance. So there's, we've been discussing this idea for quite a while now. We are DXDAO is going to be using HATS, and this additional grant is a way for DXDAO to lean into this project and, you know, have governance say and take a bigger stake in the actual system. And so, yeah, check that out. If you have, there is also a forum thread about it. There haven't been any super big questions. I think generally the community is on board with it, which is great, which is why we are, you know, have this live proposal. Yeah, it's an interesting opportunity with a lot of I just think it's got a lot of momentum basically, but it is new, and the fact that DXDAO is like an early participant in it just shows that it's something that we think is needed in the space, and so having a larger stake in it seems to make sense as well. And then the second point, the second thing is there's a few different types of opportunities, but there's an immediate opportunity. You've probably seen some press about like YEarn giving a grant, I think, to Atlantis World. Atlantis World is trying to build a 2D version of a metaverse that's really bridging community, the metaverse, and the DeFi space. And so, you know, DXDAO, even though it's a native internet collective and only exists on the internet, I would say that we don't have much of a presence in this new, quickly growing metaverse space. And so this is one opportunity for DXDAO to participate and get in early with a project. And so, yeah, people should weigh in on this opportunity and potentially propose other opportunities that would be interesting for DXDAO. There are a whole bunch of DeFi projects that have a presence in the metaverse, whether it's having meetups in VR or in Decentraland or Crypto Voxels. Some own land in those metaverses. And so with Atlantis World, there's kind of like different bases you can have, and a grant or a grant to Atlantis World would put us in line to basically have them customize a base within their world for DXDAO and its products, and put us alongside some of the biggest DeFi projects in the space who are also doing that. So it's a, you know, interesting, cool opportunity, and so we can talk more about that. Yeah, that's all we have on the agenda for now. If anyone has any questions, other topics, anything interesting they want to talk about, this was a quite concise meeting. It is a holiday all around the world, so we're missing a handful of people here and there, but thought it was quite productive. Any last topics or questions people have? Nope. All right. Well, this will be posted online and people can watch it later. But thank you everyone for coming, and see you later.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sky.